Thank you.
I saw Robin come in.
Good morning. I am in. I was having a little trouble, but I'm in now. Thank you.
Could you introduce yourself for the record, please?
Yes, this is Assistant Division Director Robin Rivers from the Roads Maintenance Division, DPS Roads Maintenance Division.
Thank you.
Was there too many potholes for you to make the meeting on time?
Actually, I was early, but I kept getting cut off. You all couldn't hear me.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Please proceed. I'll get serious.
What you have before you, Shay, this is our performance audit report for the Department of Public Services Roads Division, the 1-888 Road Crew Hotline. And I'll turn it over to the audit team and they'll go through the presentation. I believe we have a presentation for the screen.
Yes, good morning. As Marcy indicated, we conducted a performance.
Can't
audit.
hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. As Marcy indicated, we conducted a performance audit of the 1-888 Road Crew Hotline process. Our objective for this particular engagement was to assess DPS Road's process for handling publicly reported road conditions that are submitted through the hotline for efficiency, effectiveness, and timeliness. The scope of this engagement, we conducted this in accordance to generally accepted governmental auditing standards. And our engagement scope was for the period of calendar years 21 through the current year. We held various discussions with roads management to determine whether adequate monitoring and oversight was performed over the road hazard complaint process. We also examined a limited sample of CityWorks, which is their asset management system that compiles all of the data or complaints, I should say, requests to determine whether the roads division followed the guidelines that are stated within their standard operating procedures. Background information as related to roads. Roads is primarily responsible for maintaining a road system of approximately 1,440 county primary and local roadways, as well as 462 miles of state trunk lines and freeways. DPS Roads is also responsible for addressing road hazards and maintenance concerns, including but not limited to the patching of potholes, resurfacing, and or paving county roads. Citizens have the opportunity to report road hazards to the DPS call center by calling the 1-800 hotline or by submitting an electronic service request to the DPS Roads website, the county's mobile application, Wayne County's Compass, or Wayne County Connect. As indicated in 2009, the county purchased the city asset management system to provide administrative support for processing these incoming road complaint service requests, the storing of data, both historical and current, and closing out reported road hazards. We found there were a couple of state laws applicable to our engagement. The first one was the MCL 224.21. Public highways and public roads mandates that a county must keep all county roads, bridges, and culverts in reasonable repair to ensure public safety. The second state law was 691.1403, and it relates to the governmental liability of negligence. It states that governmental agencies should repair all road defects within 30 days of its discovery to mitigate against any potential legal liability that could be filed by a claimant. As a result, DPS Roads strives to ensure that all in-jurisdiction road hazards are effectively repaired within 30 days of its discovery and or known existence.
And can I stop you right there? Is there a specific list of those roads that have that's been called in, that's been taken care of or not taken care of?
Right. I believe on a monthly basis, the division submits a report to the roads committee indicating what has come in, activity for that particular month. So there is a report that's submitted to the
But did you look at the report?
Yes, we did.
And
That's what we're going to get into.
okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of it, but no, I just want to make sure that,
Yes.
A is A and B is B. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Summary of issues. Based on our audit, we identified 5 issues and 9 recommendations to strengthen the internal control environment over the road hazard complaint process. 2 of these issues were classified as significant deficiencies, which should be remedied within a near term by management. And 3 of the issues are classified as control deficiencies, which we deem are relatively low risk. We discussed the 5 issues and 9 recommendations with management to obtain their concurrence and or disagreement. Management agreed with all 9 of the recommendations that were discussed within the 5 issues. With that being said, I'll turn it to Tequila.
Okay, our objective was to assess DPS Road's process for handling publicly reported road conditions that are submitted through the 1888 Road Crew Hotline for efficiency, effectiveness, and timeliness. Establish a written disaster recovery plan for city work systems on pages 8 through 9 of the report. The National Institute of Standards and Technology recommends for organizations to implement a contingency plan for their information systems to maintain the continuity of operations during a system shutdown. Management informed us that DPS Roads has not formally drafted a disaster recovery plan for the city work system if an emergency occurs. According to management, if a shutdown occurs, DPS call center is trained to document incoming road hazard requests on manual forms and to upload the information to the city work system once the system has been restored. Yes, we did note during the audit that we did receive a disaster recovery plan during that time, but it was not formalized. Moving on. The lack of a written disaster recovery plan for city works could result in inconsistencies and processing of and recovering data files after or during a prolonged emergency or shutdown. Recommendation 2022-01, a significant deficiency. To maintain the continuity of the county's road hazard complaint process in the event of an emergency and or system shutdown, we recommend that DPS Roads Management, A, formalize their existing disaster recovery procedures for the city work system into writing to maintain consistency with processing road complaints, and B, review the written disaster recovery plan for city works at least annually to ensure it's updated to align to current or revised business practices. Management agreed with the recommendation. Moving on to insufficient monitoring over road hazard request closures in city works on pages 9 through 11 of the report. The DPS Road Standard Operating Procedures requires for the call center operators to timely review and assign all incoming road hazard requests to responsible divisional personnel such as supervisors for timely resolution. DPS has also established a service goal to acknowledge incoming road hazard requests within 48 hours and to close out the service requests within city works upon completion of the repair. In addition, DPS seeks to remediate reported road hazards within a 30-day period to mitigate against any potential liability. Based upon a review of 46 sample road hazard requests, we noted that 24 or 52% of the road hazard requests had an exception that pertained to one or more of the following areas: the timely acknowledgement and or closure of the road hazard requests, improper segregation of duties, and or the assignment of the road hazard request to a non-supervisory DPS staff member. By management not effectively monitoring the status of open road hazard requests, the county may be unable to meet its internal goal of acknowledging complaints within 48 hours and completing road hazard repairs within 30 days. Recommendation 2022-02, a control deficiency. To enhance the monitoring over road hazard requests and closure in city works, we recommend for DPS Roads Management to A, conduct and document weekly reviews of the City Works Manager emails report to identify any open road hazard requests that have not been acknowledged within 48 hours and or closed by the assigned DPS supervisor within 30 days of receipt in CityWorks to ensure timely completion and mitigate potential liability. B, ensure DPS call center staff are following the directives that are stated within the revised DPS Roads Command Center and Call Center Standard Operating Procedure to ensure that consistent business practices are followed during daily processing of road hazard requests. Management agreed with the recommendations.
Our next finding was to enhance monitoring over open road hazard requests in CityWorks on page 11 through 14 of the report. The SOP requires for DP roads management to monitor the status of road hazard requests during a review of the 30-day CityWorks manager email report, the 15-day CityWorks employee emails report, and during their review of the weekly status report on requests that have been acknowledged, closed, and or updated within CityWorks. Based upon our limited sample of 36 road hazard requests, we noted that 34 of the 36 sample requests had an exception that pertained to one or more of the following areas: untimely acknowledgement and or closure within CityWorks, lack of assignment of the request to a DPS supervisor within CityWorks, and or lack of segregation of duties between DPS personnel and CityWorks. It also appears that DPS roads management did not always monitor and assess the status of open road requests on a continuous basis to ensure that DPS call center staff members assigned, acknowledged, and closed a request within CityWorks on a timely basis. To ensure that all road hazard requests were properly assigned to, acknowledged, and closed on a timely basis by the assigned DPS supervisor. If DPS roads management does not consistently monitor and assess the status of open road hazard requests, management may be unable to effectively repair road hazards on a timely basis. To mitigate the risk pertaining to the inadequate monitoring of open road hazard requests in CityWorks, we recommend DPS roads management to enhance monitoring by conducting and documenting a weekly review of the CityWorks manager email report to identify any road hazard requests that have not been assigned to a DPS supervisor, acknowledged by a supervisor within 48 hours of receipt, or closed within 30 days of receipt in CityWorks. And to also ensure that DPS call center staff are following the directives within the revised DPS road operating procedures to ensure that consistent business practices are enforced and followed during daily processing of road hazard requests. Our next finding was to establish procedures for addressing outside jurisdiction service requests, which is on page 14 through 15 of the report. Our review of Wayne County's report on the road hazard website. I'm sorry. The road hazard website stated that if a road hazard is reported on a non-county operating road, the DPS call center will take the report and pass it along immediately to the appropriate city or state agency. However, DPS roads management informed us that no follow-up measures are taken after the local or state jurisdiction is contacted. We sampled 6 road hazard service requests in CityWorks that were reported for non-county roads and found no evidence within CityWorks that the service requests were forwarded to the respective local jurisdiction for assessment and repair. We also could not determine whether the caller was advised to contact the appropriate jurisdiction for 4 of the 6 service requests reviewed. We also found evidence for the remaining 2. In addition, the DPS call center standard operating procedure does not have procedures for processing service requests that are outside of the county's jurisdiction, such as follow-up procedures with local government entities. The lack of guidance on processing road hazard requests outside the county's jurisdiction may lead to inconsistent business practices within the DPS call center. In addition, without documented evidence of the forwarding and receipt of the complaint, the other governmental entity could deny they received the DPS notification and expose the county to potential liability under the MCL 691.1403 law. To enhance accountability and mitigate potential liability related to service requests belonging to other jurisdictions, we recommend DPS roles management establish a formalized standard operating procedure for the handling of service requests belonging to other jurisdictions, and ensure call center personnel document comments within CityWorks indicating that the reported road hazard was outside the county's jurisdiction, as well as identification of the other municipality type of hazard reported and action taken or provided to the caller. Management also agreed with this recommendation. And lastly, our next finding was to enhance the monitoring over management operational reports, which is on page 15 through 17 of the report. The CityWorks Manager email report is a 30-day report that is generated for all open service requests that were originated by the Roads Crew Hotline. According to the standard operating procedure, DPS management is to monitor the CityWorks Manager email report and address road hazard service requests that have been open for more than 30 days. We selected 30 service requests from the August 22 report to determine whether DPS performed sufficient monitoring. We then attempted to trace the 30 service requests to the October 22 report and the December 22 report to determine the status of the reported service requests. Our results determined that 10 of the 30 service requests were reported as acknowledged or opened on the October report and December reports, and one service request, while not reported in October, was listed in the December 22 report as open. The remaining 19 service requests were closed out in the CityWorks system and were not listed on the October or December reports. From our assessment, it appears that DPS management has not established adequate procedures to sufficiently monitor the CityWorks Manager email report to address and close out service requests that are older than 30 days. Failure to monitor open service requests may subject the county to potential liability if open hazard requests are not effectively monitored and resolved or closed within 30 days of being reported to the county. To enhance accountability and mitigate risks related to road hazard service requests that are not closed within a timely manner, we recommend DPS roles management enhances monitoring over the CityWorks Manager email report on a weekly basis to identify and address road requests that have been open for more than 30 days. Management also agreed with this recommendation, and this concludes our presentation.
I have a lot of questions. Any commissioners have any questions, comments? Okay, I'm looking up, hazard means risk or danger. And I'm seeing, first of all, I notice as chair of the committee, there's nobody from DPS that's in front of our committee. They are on Zoom. And there's, maybe I'm old school, but it bodes better when folks are here in person for me personally. Second of all, if the department agrees with the auditors on all the findings, and there was considerable findings, I know that the auditors will do a follow-up at some point in time soon and try to get this thing resolved. But we're the largest county in Michigan. We have a lot of issues. I, as a commissioner, get a lot of calls about weeds, potholes, drains, all sorts of things. But also traffic lights. And if we're supposed to accidents at intersections, and it might be a state trunk line, but it's the county maintains it. And like, for example, Sibley and Telegraph, and this goes on and on and on. It's like, rather than being reactive, I would hope the department would be proactive and work with commissioners and audit staff to try to continually move the county forward. I'm not trying to kill a messenger here, but I know it's a big county with a lot of issues, and I appreciate the good work that you do in the department, but I just think there's always room for improvement. That's my comments. And Ms. Cora?
I could just add too, the representatives from DPS Roads were very cooperative into this with this audit engagement. And what will happen is 30 days after the report is received and filed by the full commission, we will send out our request for the corrective action plan. They will submit their corrective action plan to us for all the findings and recommendations in this report. And then we will in turn assess the corrective action that they plan to take to determine if it will address the recommendation, then report back to the committee.
Thank you. Anything further? Commissioner Dobb?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How many people do we have working in the call center?
Ms. Rivers, if you could respond to that.
Yes, good morning. And I do apologize that I had some technical problems getting in. I did get in early and you couldn't hear me. And so I went out and came back in an attempt to make sure that you would be able to hear me and know that I was in attendance. I also apologize that we were not here in person, but we were notified yesterday afternoon of this meeting and had a conflict. We also had a meeting with MDOT. And so this is why we are on Zoom. And in the future, we will be in person, and we have been in person in the past.
Thank you.
As it relates to the call center, we have 2 employees. Well, we have Wayne County employees. We have 3 budgeted positions for Wayne County employees. One of the employees recently retired, and their position has been posted to be filled. We have another employee that works the midnight shift exclusively. And then we also have a contract with a new vendor, 22nd Century, that under contract has to keep available for a 6 to 8 personnel demand, both the day shift and the afternoon shift. In addition to that, we have a department manager, which is Tony Bellinger. He is on the line, that supervises that operation.
Okay. My other question is, so we have a number of ways that residents can report road hazards, through the 188 road crew number, the website, the mobile apps. Are those all handled through the City Works asset management system to go into the same
Yes, it does.
system? Okay, all right. And then that is funneled through to DPS Roads Management
That's correct.
for the reporting. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That's all I had. And then I was gonna ask Marcy about the timing for follow-up, but it's gonna be 30 days. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anything further from other commissioners? Okay, can I get a motion to receive and file?
Move to receive and file.
Support?
We have a support by Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Okay. Support by Commissioner Coleman. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Please vote on your tablets.
I can't see my tablet and I can't get into it, so I can't vote by tablet. So that's why I'm gonna do it audible here. So all those in favor? All those opposed? Ayes have it. You know, it's technology. Seriously, this is what I get. So I'm trying to deal with. How can I vote? You know, and I don't blame the staff is trying to make this thing work, but the technology here is not working either, so. But anyway, next item, Madam Clerk,
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
there are none. Next item.
G, public comments.
Is there anybody from the public who'd like to comment? Is there anybody from the public who'd like to comment? Second time. Final time. Is there anybody from the public who'd like to comment? Darcel? No, okay. Anybody else from the public who'd like to comment? Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Adjournment.
Can I get a motion? It's been moved and supported.